Gentlemen and ladies, my pleasure to welcome you here to our Poplar Forest on a day which I can simply remark is somewhat sultry, is it not? But so it is during the summertime. This is what we expect here in our Virginia, in our location here, Forest. And I simply am so thankful that so many of you have come from all across our Commonwealth, and I hear others having come from the Commonwealth of Kentucky as well. Welcome. And I dare say others of our sister states welcoming us all together on this special occasion, which has taken, if I say so, who would else, taken nearly 200 years. 200 years to finally recognize, to finally realize with what I had planned, what I had drawn, to have this remarkable carriageway, 2¼ miles, to make its way through the wilderness here, through the beauty that has been provided us by none other than our Creator, the great architect of our universe. I was so delighted to have a conversation with Mr. Will Riley, who provided this remarkable accomplishment for us, and to hear him remark about it as somewhat a very light ribbon flowing, if you will, upon the gentle terrain. Is it not truly just that? As we are able to appreciate nature more in all of the turns, the gentle turns, in fording streams in which we do not have to worry about getting our feet wet, and to be able to see the mansion house and different prospects and vistas. That was the intention to help them more or less support nature, and to help us more as we retreat, if you will, from the business of the world, which was my object from the very beginning. Poplar Forest as a retreat house, to have us venture farther here into the woods, upon the fields, and then to come to a great solace, which we all, I hope, are experiencing right now in our comfort. You know, I wrote about Poplar Forest. It is where I can go with my family, my good friends, a place where I may read, a place where I may write, but more importantly, a place where I may think. Think. Imagine I live in a 4-mile-an-hour world, and I need a place where I can get away and simply think. So I hope you will all continue to ponder how necessary that is for each and every one of us in our lives amidst the business of the world. So I should not say one word more, but rather to introduce the others who are those indeed remaining inspirations. Inspirations representing where we've been, where we are, but more importantly, where we are all going, the hopes for our future, that our carriageway will ever lead us to continue to think upon. Madam Mayor, you are with us this day. I'm more than happy to welcome you to the podium here, if you will. Please, if you all will welcome our Madam Mayor Dolan here, Mayor Jean Dolan.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this celebration. Poplar Forest is such a beautiful asset with a rich and long history, and I am so proud to be here today to participate in the ribbon cutting of the Parkway as it becomes a grand entrance befitting of the magnificence of Poplar Forest. Before I continue, let me acknowledge my colleagues of City Council that are here this morning. I believe I saw Councilmember Feraldi, and I think Councilmember Nelson, not sure. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Maybe not, but thank you for coming very much. This property has been an important part of our community's history for over 200 years. And we are so excited to open this new entrance connecting the city of Lynchburg to Poplar Forest. It is a treasured jewel and a tourism anchor for our city and our region, drawing thousands of visitors to our area to explore its architecture, its archaeology, and living history. Historic and cultural attractions like Poplar Forest attract new businesses, investors, and residents, which aid in economic growth of our region. I am grateful for the strong partnership between Poplar Forest and the City of Lynchburg's Department of Economic Development and Tourism. This new gateway will enhance the quality of life in Lynchburg and beyond, as visitors and residents will be able to enjoy its park-like atmosphere as they run, walk, and ride their bike through the property. I saw evidence of residents already enjoying this space as I took my inaugural drive last night, and it was just really a great pleasure to see those folks out enjoying the great sunset. I look forward to exploring this new asset with my family and friends, and I hope that you all take an opportunity and time to enjoy it also. And thank you very much. And now I'd like to turn it over to Catherine Pumphrey, who is the board chair of Poplar Forest. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. And thank you, Mr. Jefferson. Good morning, everyone. As Mary Jane said, I'm Catherine Pumphrey, and I chair the board of Jefferson's Poplar Forest. And on behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to thank you for attending today's event. Today is truly a momentous one for Thomas Jefferson's Poplar Forest. The opening of our new parkway encompasses the theme of our capital campaign launched in 2014 called A New Path to Jefferson. This new path to Jefferson's Poplar Forest certainly embodies our goal to shape the long-term future of Poplar Forest. Our new parkway entrance to the property will promote easier access to Jefferson's retreat, in addition to allowing us to expand programs and educational opportunities. In 1809, after retiring from the presidency, Thomas Jefferson marked the path of a new road to be opened to Lynchburg on his hand-drawn map of the Poplar Forest property. The new Parkway runs parallel to this planned route, just as Jefferson had intended. Gives me goosebumps. We would not be standing here today if not for the generous support from so many individuals, companies, foundations, and government agencies in our community, our state, and our nation. Since 2014, we have raised over $5.5 million toward the construction of the Parkway alone. Today, we would like to thank all of you for being here and for your generous support of our effort. Additionally, I would like to thank and recognize our leadership donors who, without their help, this project could not have been completed. I'd like to recognize the following leadership donors: Melanie and Lynch Christian, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph R. Gladden Jr., Dr. and Mrs. T. Joseph Pond Jr., the Virginia Tobacco Region Revitalization Commission, the late Mrs. Ann R. Worrell, the Cabell Foundation, the GNAN Foundation, Watson Brown Foundation, and Mr. and Mrs. Cranston Williams Jr. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you all so very much. They have definitely helped make this project a reality. Today, I'd also like to welcome and recognize several special guests with us. You've already met our mayor, Mary Jane Dolan. Mary Jane, it's good to have you here. I'd like to recognize Winton Benda, the Lynchburg city manager. I don't think I saw him here. He might be here. And Robert Hiss, the Bedford County administrator. I'd also like to recognize and thank Will Riley, Roxanne Bruce, and the entire team at Riley and Associates for their design of the Parkway and for managing our project. This is amazing. They have done amazing work, and I'd like to thank them so much for their effort. It could not have been done without them also. I'd also like to thank everyone from Branch Civil who worked so hard to complete the actual construction and surfacing of the Parkway. And I'd also like to thank other contractors, including Wiley Wilson, AccuPoint, and Hurt and Profit. All of these firms donated a portion of their time and services to the project. A big thank you today should also go to our board of directors. They have worked diligently over the years to ensure that we complete this project, and I'd like to ask all the current board members and all of our past board members. This has been a long project over a 10-year span, so we've seen board members come and go, but all current board members, all past board members, would you please stand to be recognized? Your dedication and support as a board is truly amazing. I'd especially like to thank board members Tucker Lemon and Fred Armstrong for their support and guidance over the last several years. They've helped us tremendously with this whole construction project, and we never have done it without you all. So would you two please stand? Where are you? I saw Fred. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank the amazing staff at Poplar Forest for their dedication, their perseverance, and their vision. Would all the staff please stand and be recognized? You all are amazing. In a letter from Thomas Jefferson to John Adams, written on August the 1st, 1816, Jefferson stated that, "I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past." We are so happy today, with all of us joined here for this celebration, to be able to see the completion of one of Jefferson's dreams for the future. It is so exciting. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your donations and your contributions. And now I'd like to introduce to you our amazing CEO of Poplar Forest, Allison Ramsey.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Catherine, for that wonderful welcome and introduction, and thank you for your leadership over the past year as we've completed this project. It's been incredible, and we are so grateful to you. So thank you, everyone, for being here with us this morning. I want to add my thanks to Catherine's for your generosity in making this project happen. And I'm delighted to announce this morning that earlier this week, we were able to complete the fundraising for this project. So we have opened this road completely debt-free for Poplar Forest. I join Catherine in thanking all of you whose vision, expertise, and financial support made this project a reality, especially Gail and Joe Pond, Ann Worrell, and the trustees of the Jean Ann Foundation, especially Phil Stone and Andrew Dracopoli, who are here with us today, Sally Gladden and her late husband Joe Gladden, Melanie and Lynch Christian, Virginia's Tobacco Region Revitalization Commission, and Cranston Williams, who's here with us today, and his late wife Marilyn. I also want to add my thanks to our staff, especially Eric Probsting and Vince Fastaben, for all of their efforts to see this project to its completion. And of course, to our landscape architects, Will Riley and Roxanne Browse, for their beautiful design work and dedication to this project at all points along the way. And now, I'd like you to join me for a journey in our imaginations. Picture, if you will, a spring day in 1823 as Thomas Jefferson departs from his beloved Poplar Forest for the last time. He had visited to assist his grandson, Francis Epps, and his wife of less than a year, Elizabeth, as they settled into their new home. As the horses are prompted, the carriage begins to roll through the turnaround. Surely Mr. Jefferson turns to look back and wave to the young couple framed by the columns of the portico. The people who built this place and made its land prosper say their goodbyes as the carriage proceeds down the dusty drive. This retreat had been the fulfillment of a vision. Begun as a dream, it stood as a reality that day. All of the trials, all of the challenges, all of the joys in seeing the artistry and craftsmanship that John Hemmings and others used to produce this masterpiece, I am sure filled his mind and heart that day. The vision of a parkway to link this carriage turnaround to the world was a vision shared by many. With the purchase of the land over 2 decades ago under the leadership of Lynn Beebe Lambeth, through the leadership of several boards of directors and the extraordinary generosity of many of you, this was an idea that has stood the test of time. It has most certainly tested our patience. To gaze out on its completion today gives us some sense of the satisfaction that Mr. Jefferson had in seeing his dream become a reality. We can certainly share in some small way his sense of accomplishment. We can experience in small portion what he felt as he drove away that last time. But what is this parkway, and what does it mean for us in 2022? Well, visitors will finally be able to find us. When James Earl Jones told Kevin Costner, "If you build it, they will come," what he didn't add was, "if they don't get lost." Today, we hopefully solve that problem. But this parkway is so very much more than a direct route to our door. This gateway to the 19th century curves through the beloved landscape that Mr. Jefferson observed on foot and on horseback during his years here. This land literally saved his life in 1781, when it sheltered and hid him and his family from the invading British Army, and inspired him to write his one and only book, Notes on the State of Virginia. Through the years, it rested his mind from the problems and challenges of the day. The retreat sprung from Jefferson's imagination, but his love of this place sprung from his love of the flora and fauna of the land. So the Parkway is first a new gateway to the land that he loved. The road and the trail provide a welcoming access for our community and a chance to experience the 4 seasons of the Piedmont region and the Blue Ridge Mountains of our Commonwealth. The future interpretive signage, which you will soon hear more about, will provide our visitors with an introduction to both Jefferson and the people who made this land productive, who gave their lives to this place and made it prosper. Secondly, the Parkway gives a new, more beautiful access to the retreat that was Poplar Forest, a small, brilliant jewel of an architectural masterpiece that sprung from the mind of Thomas Jefferson. As we complete the meticulous and state-of-the-art restoration of his vision and celebrate the many hands that then and now have made this possible, we prepare for a new wave of visitors to welcome and to inspire. For many years we've told them, now we can show them. But finally, and perhaps most importantly, we must remember that this road runs in 2 directions and doesn't just extend to Enterprise Drive. The Poplar Forest Parkway connects us to classrooms, homes, and communities across the Commonwealth and across the country. It gives this corporation a once-in-a-generation opportunity to put out a welcome mat to the world. Today we are extending our hand from this same place, but in a new way. We must never forget another truth. With opportunity comes responsibility. More visibility and better ease of access comes with deeper obligations. We as a corporation must be ready to dig deeper into an understanding of the enslaved people who built and maintained this plantation. We must be ready to tell their stories to the countless new guests that will drive this parkway in search of names and answers. We must dig deeper and try harder to name their names, tell their stories, and convey their reality in the 21st century. Though Mr. Jefferson had a complicated relationship with the U.S. Navy, I hope he wouldn't mind us using a most appropriate naval term today. A plank owner is an individual who was a member of the crew of a ship when that ship was placed into commission. As we dedicate the Poplar Forest Parkway today, all of you certainly can proudly hold that title. So, my fellow plank holders, my hearty congratulations. Please give yourselves and this special day a hearty round of applause. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Leslie King, one of the founding members of our African American Advisory Panel, to share exciting news about the new interpretive exhibits that will be installed along the Parkway later this year.
Good morning, and thank you, Allison. I'm not sure Jefferson envisioned drones. Perhaps he did, but if you didn't know there was a drone, did you hear the noise? Okay, that was a drone, for those who may not know. And I wish we had talked about our notes, Allison, because you talked about a dream. And I know that Harriet Tubman said that every great dream begins with a dreamer. And a dream is an idea of possibilities, of hope, of aspiration. And in order for that dream to become a reality, it requires dedication, work, and labor for it to come to fruition. And so there are so many people who have been involved with this work. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the exhibit. So the construction of the now completed Poplar Forest Parkway was a key infrastructure implementation step in the plan for improving access to the site, preparing visitors for their museum experience, and providing new avenues for interpretation. A framework for new site-wide interpretive elements was adopted by the corporation's board of directors in November 2016, marking the culmination of 4 years of planning efforts aimed at revitalizing the visitor experience. The Poplar Forest Parkway exhibits are a major element of the expanded visitor experience. Through a series of wayside exhibits and trailhead markers that will be installed later this year, visitors will learn about aspects of Poplar Forest not adequately addressed through our current exhibit offerings. These new exhibits will uncover the stories of Jefferson, the plantation and its enslaved residents through well-researched text and stunning original artwork. Created by African-American artist E.B. Lewis, an award-winning fine artist and educator who has illustrated over 70 books for children. And what we have here is one of the displays that features E.B.'s watercolor images, commissioned specifically for this project. And if you can't see that, maybe afterwards you can come over and see the board there. The exhibit focuses on an introduction to Thomas Jefferson, the plantation and its people, plantation labor, including the names of enslaved African Americans who lived and labored at Poplar Forest under the direction of overseers connected to the fields in which they labored. The cycle of tobacco cultivation and production and the impact on the landscape. Movement both across the plantation and beyond by Jefferson, his family, and the enslaved community to Lynchburg. Nearby New London, Monticello, and to neighboring plantations to execute plantation labor assignments, conduct business, visit, worship, and in some cases, even escape. Future Wayside exhibits will also allow visitors to explore both newly discovered and well-documented archaeological sites, ranging from Native American encampments to sites such as the location of the Prize Barn, where tobacco was packed for shipment to Richmond via the James River. We look forward to unveiling these new exhibits later this year and hope you will watch for that announcement on our social media channels and in our print and email newsletters. Poplar Forest wishes to thank so many people who were involved, but specifically the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services for the generous grant awarded to this project in 2018, the National Society, Daughters of American Colonists, and the American Electric Power Foundation for their significant and generous contributions to match that award. E.B. Lewis for bringing forth the humanity of Poplar Forest enslaved residents through his beautiful and emotive watercolor illustrations. Bill Barker, Janice Benahan, Joey Chatton, Tyreek Bowles, Dre Bowles, and Alicia Crawley for their help as models for E.B.'s artwork. The Rockefeller Library at Colonial Williamsburg for sharing several of their images that will be used on the panels, and Poplar Forest Archaeological and Interpretation departments for their leadership on this project. And last but certainly not least, the members of the African American Advisory Panel for their invaluable input in this project and ongoing work to make this come to fruition. If there are any members of the advisory panel that are in here, if you'd like to stand, that would be great so people can see who you are. There are a couple of people. And now I'd like to turn it back to Allison.
Thank you so much, Leslie. And I want to add my thanks to the African American Advisory Group and also the Landscape Advisory Panel for their guidance on this project. We have put many, many hours into this, and we're so excited to see it be installed later this year, in addition to some exhibits over at the quarter site that will go in later this summer. So thank you very much for sharing more about those. Now we will proceed to the feature of the day, the ribbon cutting. I want to invite everyone who joined us earlier today to come for this ribbon cutting at the entrance to the carriage turnaround. So those of you who are in this morning's photo, in addition to any of our board members that are here and all of our staff, if you can get in the photo too, that would be great. And the rest of you are certainly welcome to come watch that. We'll just be right over here. You can see it. And then after that, I hope that you will enjoy the reception that we have here at the back of the tent. Also, please take a moment to go through the house and see all the improvements. We've really done a lot of work over the past several years and just just over the past week, it's changed radically. So please take a moment to go and enjoy that. And thank you so very much for your support and for being here with us today. It is truly a wonderful day for Poplar Forest. I know I speak for all of the staff when I can say we are just so happy we have arrived at this point, and we hope the community just really enjoys and the road and the trails and uses it and comes and supports us as well. So thank you so much.
Great job. Well written, well delivered. You had a spare battery, did you? Yep.
Very nice.
This is something, yeah. Really wonderful. Love the problem.